Hi, MJ.
Hi, Miguel and Ryan. I'm MJ.
Hi,
We're
MJ.
both from Manila, Philippines. We're also excited over here in this side of the world. I heard from Steve and Eve that they worked long hours and the challenges of shooting a fight scene took a week, maybe for just a scene. Can you tell me about the challenges, of course, as the showrunners and director that you had to go through at the behind the lens, right? Doing this during COVID.
The worst challenge is that you weren't allowed to bring any food onto set. You weren't allowed to bring any drink on set, and you had to wear a mask all the time. And so, if you've ever tried to talk to 250 people when you never get to see their face,
Uh-huh.
and they never get to see yours, you start to learn to eye act, which is like you have to be very expressive with your eyes, and you have
Try
to,
to
when you're
get
smiling, yeah, you have to realize that nobody knows that you're smiling. And so then when you would actually, when finally we began to take our masks off when we were outside and COVID restrictions were relaxing, I made the mistake of, I kept saying to people, oh, I think your lips are inflamed. And they would go, no, they're not. And I'd realized that I had this idea of what their face was going to look like and it wasn't the same. So unfortunately, I made a complete twit of myself.
no, but it was I mean we had the opportunity to in the press side to see a little bit of the 10 episodes, and we just can't. I mean, personally, I can't get enough of it. The details were really down to the T. But what work was put into that? Can you just walk us through how challenging it was, since there's a book, you had to translate it to of course television, or was it a free hand for both of you to do it
I,
in your own execution?
I mean, it's a towering challenge to create a new world. I mean, I think the additional layer here was that we were, as Miguel always says, we had to devolve the original series a bit because it takes 200 years before. So certain things had to look exactly the same. I mean, the Red Keep is a castle that was built, a couple decades into Aegon's reign. It should look exactly the same, if a bit newer than it did, during Robert Baratheon's time when he was sitting on the throne. Other things like the clothing, fashions changed quite a bit over even in medieval period where technology tended to move more slowly. Fashions would change a lot, so that felt like something that had to look quite a bit different than the original series, but still remain within the same tonal palette. So you're always kind of walking this balance of servicing the original and speaking to it so it feels like it's in the same world, but also communicating this huge passage of time and making it feel like Game of Thrones all the way through. So I think we were successful, but threading that needle was constantly in the back of our mind through the prep process.
This is one of the biggest shows everyone is expecting this year, and of course always, right, people keep on saying that, wow, this is the successor to Game of Thrones. But for both of you, why is this the perfect successor for Game of Thrones? Why is this timeline the one that has to be told?
Well, interestingly, I don't think either of us chose this particular story. It was given to us. It was a story that George was particularly keen on telling, and I think after much thought, HBO realized that rather than throw rather than basically look for an opportunity to tell something extremely different, they were looking to continue the story that Game of Thrones set up, even if it wasn't linearly. So that was really the card that we were dealt. I think what we did is we took that and looked at it from the perspective of how can we change the point of view of this story so that we have a different way of approaching it, so that we're not just looking at the same story being, nobody wants to see the same thing again and again and again, or maybe they do, but we were interested in looking at it through a different lens.
Yeah, Ryan, for you, of course, a lot of fans are so excited for this one, as I said earlier. But for everyone who's expecting things to be like Game of Thrones, what do you want to tell the fans or to expect come August 21?
I mean, hopefully you're going to get exactly what you want, but not in the way that you think you're going to get it. I think that that's what we're trying to do is create a fitting and satisfying successor series to the original that does things in unexpected ways.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.